everyone, thank you very much for watching or listening. Liam Hartree here today with another episode of Presenting Champions. Today joined by Welsh Combat Series champion Healey, who's getting off to a very exciting start in the fight game. 2 first round knockouts on Welsh Combat Series events in hybrid boxing with MMA gloves. Just being signed by BKB as well, with a fight coming up at the time of this interview on December the 3rd. So very exciting future ahead. He's got a very inspirational story from where he's come from with his background and everything to where he is today and how he's really turned his life around. We'll get into that in a minute, so stay tuned everyone. But before we do, mate, like I was just saying, thank you very much for coming on the show, and it's great to have you here, mate. It's awesome.
No, you're very welcome, mate. Like I said in previous conversations, I really appreciate it. You know, for something like this for me is a bit of an honour, to be honest.
Oh, there we go. Well, it's great to have you here, mate. Like I say, you're off to a very exciting start, exciting future ahead of you, and you've got a heart of gold as well, and a very inspiring backstory. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work this not necessarily literally in order of where you come from. I'm going to start with a couple of the fights recently, and then we can go back in time a little bit to some of what you've overcome in your life, which I just think is amazing. So starting off at the beginning, obviously you are now Welsh Combat Series champion. We were just talking about that. How does it feel to be walking around as a champion, walking around with the belt, and to be in that situation? Because we were talking just now about how all of this has happened quite fast from your point of view. So starting with the last fight, how does it feel to be a champion at the moment?
Yeah, to be honest, it's still not real with me. It's like I started off about 6 months back. You know, the few of the boys got me back into the gym, get my head sorted with things. I was dealing with a lot of stuff, and back to the gym sort of helped me out and pulled me out of a rut I was sort of in. So to be honest, like I said, it's still hard for me to sort of believe myself that I am a champion because of obviously how quick everything happened. It was literally, like I said, two cracking first round knockouts, and it just took off from there really. Obviously with the BKB then, that's come round the corner quite fast, and I still can't believe it now. People are saying to me like congratulations and things and stuff like that just doesn't happen to a boy like me from a valley. But
Yeah, well, that's an amazing achievement. We'll come to the BKB in a minute now, but just with obviously with the Welsh Combat Series title, walk us through your memories of the fight. So with this, I don't mind if it's like the build up to the fight or after the fight and what the reaction was from your community and everything, but just the things that really stick in your mind. I mean, it's only been what's it been, like a month or something? It's not been long, is it? So in terms of that, share with us your thoughts on your memories from the fight and your favourite parts of it, if that's all
yeah,
right.
like well, leading up to the fight, I think I was fairly confident. I'd put a lot of work in over the weeks, months before the fight, so I was quite confident leading up to the both fights. To be honest with you, coming out into the ring was still confident. Like I had my family, my mates around me, all the boys that pushed me, and my coaches, they believed in me as well. They seen the work ethic that I'd put in. So to be honest with me, it was just all down to me and whether or not I could deliver. And to be honest, I was a brick in it the minute I stepped in the ring because I thought there's a lot of people here I can let down. A lot of people have put a lot of time and effort into me, and at the same time, I wanted that win. I wanted to feel that positivity. You know what I mean? So coming up to the fight, like I said, was a breeze until actually stepping in that ring, and then afterwards, like I said to you, I couldn't believe it when they handed and wrapped the title around my waist. It was like I've actually done it. Now in such a short space of time as well of training, the fight. I just couldn't believe it, man.
An amazing achievement, obviously winning the belt, and an amazing achievement with the knockout as well, because that was obviously first round and it was brutal. I mean, the medics were with him in the corner for a little while after as well, so it was really, a decisive win. So congrats on that, mate. Obviously, I was there, so I saw it firsthand. But for anyone who doesn't know, it was a stunning win. Obviously, going back real quick just to talk about your other win in the Welsh Combat Series. So that, obviously the title fight was John Mealy. Big shout out to him as well. Very tough lad. Before that, we got the Callum Robbins fight, and everything like that. We got that one, another first round knockout as well. Talk to us a little bit about that fight, and then we'll get into the BKB side of things.
Yeah, really, that's what the boy had called me out. Supposedly, so we said let's just get it on, let's have a bit of fun and see where it goes. If I fall back into love with the sport, then I'll continue and I'll keep on going. And just as it happens, he walked on to two nice shots, went down, and that was that. And then that buzz of actually winning again just kicked it all back off for me. It was like, I want this for my life rather than certain other things that I was going through as well.
Yeah.
So it was a breeze. It was nice. It was nice to actually get in there and be a part of something that big. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, in a minute, now we'll get to some of the things you've overcome as well in your background. But before we do, obviously, big opportunity with BKB. They've sort of scouted you, and you've got a big fight coming up for them. Now, I remember when we were talking and we were setting up this interview. You were saying that that was what inspired you, and that was what you wanted to do, type of thing. So was BKB the thing that actually got you back into sports again, like back into the fight game
Yeah,
type of thing?
watching some of the lads fight on there, like the likes of James Canelli, Tony Lafferty, Dan Chapman, Sean George, watching them do what they do, sort of lit that spark a little bit more for me. It was like I can see myself there. That's what I want to do. That's my kind of violence, and that's where it's come to. And I still can't believe it. I'm a little bit lost for words, but I'm actually getting my opportunity now, and I'm hoping not to disappoint. But I'm going to go out
Yeah.
and I'm going to give it all my all and give it my best, and that's all you can do. Do you know what I mean?
100%, 100%. Well, no doubt you'll get the win in very decisive fashion again. It'll be a big win for you, a big win for the team and for Wales. So good luck for December the 3rd as well. We'll all be supporting you all the way and cheering for you and everything like that. Honestly, it is amazing. And obviously, going back a little bit more into your background, because I wanted to start the interview with a bang, with the fights, with where you are now. And at the moment, you're sort of on top of the world. I mean, you've got the belt with Welsh Combat Series. You've got the BKB fight coming up. You're doing all these things, but obviously, it wasn't always like this. And as I said to you when we were setting things up, inspiration is a big part of why I do these. Showing people how they can turn their life around. So obviously, with your background, there were some troubles that you went through. There were some dark times and things like that.
Yes,
I
I
don't
had a,
mind
I
where
had a
you want to start with this, but take it away in your own words with that.
yeah, I had a bit of a tainted past. There's a lot of wrongdoing I'd done in my life. But I started off with a drink. The drink sort of took hold of me, and then developed into the drugs. I had a real bad drug addiction, drug problem, to the point where my family was scared, to the point they didn't know if I was going to live to 23, maybe younger than that. And they begged me on times to stop, and I just didn't have the power. I didn't have the willpower to sort of change my life. And things just went from bad to worse. I had my children, and it come to the point then where I had my children. It was like, I gotta do it now. I can't have this life for my kids, or I wouldn't want anybody else's kids to go through what I'm putting mine through. So the fighting then was sort of like a release as well, to sort of get everything off my chest, stop thinking about all the things that I've done in the past, and start thinking about what's time to do in the future. And hopefully, with my story about the drugs, it'll change a lot of kids' mind and perspective on it, because they think it's this cool thing to do. It's not. The effects of it while you're doing it is outrageous. And then not just that, it messes you up in the long run after it too. It's
Yeah.
taken me 4 years to get to where I am now, completely over it. You know, And to be honest with you, I'd never look back.
Absolutely, it's amazing. I mean, the inspiration of that is amazing, and obviously it gives people hope. You know what they can do in their lives. Now, I don't want to dwell on any darkness or anything unnecessarily, and I don't want to probe into your personal stuff. But just talking about that time a little bit. I mean, can you share with us like what type of effects you were having from the drugs? Like, was it messing up your
I was,
mental health and
I was stealing. I was, I'd do anything to get the money for it. You know, obviously I was working, but that weren't enough. You know, I was stealing from people. I was in dark places, violence. I nearly went to jail a couple of times, and it just basically just wasn't the life that I was meant to live. Do you know what I mean? It's no life for anyone to live. I'll vouch after everyone out there will probably say the same as being in my situation. You know, once you come out of that hole, you realize actually how bad it is. And looking back on it, it's something I'd never want to do again. You know, I'd never want my kids to go through it. I'd never want to put my children through it again. You know, not just that, I wouldn't want to see any other kids like up in the valleys. It's rife. You
yeah,
know, it's everywhere these days, and unfortunately, there are people younger than I was starting taking it and doing stuff with it, and you know, just want to get it out to them. Stay away from it. Get your head in the gym. Get your head in the passion that you got. You know, devote your time and attention to that. And you can do anything. You know, take me for instance. I started 10 months ago into this, buried it, and look where I am now. Got opportunities fighting for the BKB. I put 100% devotion into this rather than bags and drinks and whatever else I was up to on weekends. You know, it's not worth your time. It's not worth your life. You know what I mean? It's not worth it for losing your family in that over when you can bring your family together to support you in your achievements rather than your downfalls.
yeah. It's a powerful message, and it's really something that people need to hear. And I think it's a big problem in all different places, you know. But like especially where we are in South Wales. I mean, I'm only in Barry sort of area, so I'm not even far away. And it's the same down here, you know, kids and it's starting like 12, 13, 14, whatever, and they're getting into it, and it's it's really young when you don't even know any better, and it's shocking. So showing how you've turned your life around, it's an amazing thing. It is absolutely incredible. Another thing to touch on there is obviously how is people's reaction to you. What I mean by that is obviously people would have known you as sort of being this person, who was into all this stuff, and people know you now as a champion.
It's
Has
like
it
yeah,
been hard for people to get their heads around it? Like
it's
people to
yeah,
get their heads around how you've
it's like I
changed?
said, it's still a bit unbelievable. I think it's still a bit unbelievable for a lot of people up here in the valleys as well. Like because obviously they see me at the worst of the worst as well. You know, there's a few people up here I had a bit of a name. You know, it's taken a lot to get clear of that name, but I'm still pushing every day. There's still people here. There's still people there that got the doubts, got this, got that. But I'm here to prove them all wrong, mate. You know, this BKB now is going to give me that opportunity, and that's how I'm going to show the world. Then
Yeah. Can you give us a prediction for the BKB fight? Do you think it's going to be another first round knockout, or how do you sort of visualize it going?
put it this way: I'm not going in there for a good time. I'm not in there for a long time either. I'm in there to get in and get out.
That's the way. And I've also obviously got to give a shout out to Damien as well, because one of the things we were talking about when we mentioned this is obviously you sort of hooked up with him, and he's been a key part in like turning your life around, changing things. Because you mentioned obviously there's the ADHD connection. He spoke a lot about that on the podcast he did with me recently. Obviously, you've been through the same type of thing. So can you share with us a little bit about like what it's like working with him and how he's helped you and all that type of stuff, you know?
Yeah, it's like when I first met Damien. We hit it off straight away. It's cracking. He knew the exact kind of cup of tea that was right for me. Do you know what I mean? It's like he had the same sort of mentality. He knows, like, with my ADHD, I'm a bit all or nothing, 100% some days, down in the dumps the next. And we just bonded. It was great, and it's taken off from there. He's been a cracking coach, along with Adrian now, down at Clinby Boxing Academy. You know, they both put in a lot of time and effort with me. They could see something in me that I couldn't see in myself, and they've pushed and pursued to get me to where I am. Like Aid, fair play to Aid, he's put all his time, his effort into me, his gym, his sponsorship. You know, same with Damien. Damien's done exactly the same with the gym. You know, putting all their time and effort into me. They have families themselves. You know, they don't have to be putting this time in with me. So I can appreciate and I respect what they give for me. You know, I like I said, to me at the minute it's all still a bit fresh. It's like, wow, is this actually happening? But yeah,
Yeah.
it's to be honest, with you, it's been a blast, and the people I meet in along the way, and the boys that train me, the boys that train with me, they're all brilliant. They're all amazing. You know, they all want to push. They've all come from similar sort of backgrounds as well with the drugs. You know, happy, like I said, if it's right with you. So it's been great. They all understand me. They all understand how I work now. With this mental little head of mine. Some days it's good, some days it's bad, but they all take me with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is it seems to be a really great connection, really great camaraderie and banter and all that sort of thing that you guys have, and it's lovely. So the last couple of things then before we wrap this up really is obviously one of the things I want to talk about is not looking past this guy that you're fighting in BKB or anything like that, but obviously assuming you get the win, which I got no doubt personally that you'll do. Where do you want to go from there with BKB? What are your sort of future plans after this fight? You know, I know you're obviously probably taking it one fight at a time, but it'd be good to think get into like what the dream is for you type of thing. You know?
Yeah, it's like I said, to be honest with you, titles are what I'm pushing for. You know, to have something like that underneath my belt would be amazing. You know, I'm not saying I'm going to be the next world champion and this and that, but I'm damn sure I'm going to try. I'm going to push myself to get to that stage so I can show the people that no matter where you come from, no matter what you've been through, no matter what you've done, like I said, if you put the dedication and time into yourself, then you can achieve anything. And that's not going to stop me from doing what I want to achieve.
Absolutely. Well, like I say, you know, no doubt you'll get the win. I mean, your boxing ability, obviously, what you've been doing with hybrid boxing is a great setup for sort of jumping to BKB. I mean, there's a lot of reasons, the team you've got behind you, everything like that. So, the last thing really to talk about here, the last thing to touch on, is obviously your fans and your supporters because at the end of the day, when I seen you fighting at the Welsh Combat Series and I've been there doing the photos and the filming and all that stuff, you have a lot of support, you know. So I want to give a shout out to those people who buy tickets to come watch you fight and support you fight and everything like that. What would you say to those individuals, those people who are sort of cheering you on type of
Now,
thing, you know?
without them sort of people, like I can't do what I do. Do you know what I mean? It's, they've shown me support from day one. They've been to nearly, well, basically every fight. I fight on another show on Page 460's semi-pro boxing show, and in all fairness, like you know, I I know times are tough sometimes, and these people still dig deep and they still come and turn up to my shows, and you know I can't thank them enough for that. They uh, they put a lot of time and effort into me, like I said, and I got a lot of friends and family that want to see me succeed. So in the end, I'm hoping it'll all be all right, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. It will. It will. Well, you've got a lot of support, and like I say, you know, you're an inspiration to a lot of people. Everything you've achieved so far. I mean, mate, I know you know we've touched on this, and we've just scratched the surface because I believe, obviously, with you, the journey's just starting out, and there's a lot more to come. So, you know, a few fights down the line, we can do another one of these when you've got more belts and everything, and what you know when you've sort of gone into the BKB and done a bit of that. But honestly, I just want to say thank you for coming on the show, and thank you for being an open book. Because at the end of the day, obviously, it's quite brave to talk about some of this stuff. I know a lot of people in your area will know it, but still putting it out public, I got a lot of respect for that. So thank you, mate. And it's honestly, it's been awesome to have you on here. I've
No, like I
enjoyed it.
said, I appreciate it, mate. I think it's a bit of an honour, you know, some of the people you've had on this show, and you know, like the coaches and like Damien himself. You know what I mean? They're all inspirations to me. I don't feel like that. You know what I mean? I'm just doing what I do. So it's been a pleasure, and I can't thank you enough for letting me be a part of your show.
It's my pleasure, mate. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the Simply Inspired YouTube channel, and there'll be more videos coming soon.